and then they'll be able to hear us. It's me as being, I got it. Fireside chat.
There's stickers in the middle. Go to the top. This also.
Okay, good morning, everyone. John Haremza here, excited for the Fireside chat. Hopefully my internet is going to be okay. I'm actually at Eric Worre's house here. We are here for this next level mastermind. This next level mastermind has become, an incredible asset to me and to all those that are participating. Today, there is for 2 days, actually, yesterday and today, roughly about 100 people in the room. And, one of the first things we did after Eric's address, which I'm going to talk a little bit about Eric's address as well. Let me see here. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about Eric's address when he opened up the meeting yesterday. But, one of the things we did is we had to go around a room and we had to say what our current monthly income is, what our peak income was, what our 12-month goal, where we want to be in 12 months from now. And so it was just really, just amazing, what's happening, in this industry that we love, this industry of network marketing. And also interesting to see some people, last time we did this, 4 months ago or almost 6 months ago, how, some people have grown, some people have shrunk. And, that's one of the things that came from, just being around other people, your peers, right? People within this industry that are 1000% committed, that are full-time, that are just really killing this, is everybody has ups and downs. And, one of the things that we talked about, because it can be, there's people in this room that are newbies to the industry. And, maybe they joined a company at the right moment and they had this unbelievable experience, but now things have tapered or declined a little bit. And, they're kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? And of course, us that have been around for a while, we just say, that's this business. It's up and down. It is really no different. It's much better, right? Lifestyle. There's nothing like it that compares it in the world, but it doesn't matter what the business is, it has its ups and downs, right? And there are things that happen in the world and in our environment that can affect what it is that we're doing. And so it was just interesting, some of the people up, some of the people down, some of the new people, just on fire, and some of the new people that are experiencing their first little hiccup or downturn, and the emotions and stuff that are taking place. But it just kind of grounds you as yourself, realizing that that is normal. And it's normal, not just with us here in network marketing, but is normal in every business. I don't care if you're in the restaurant business, if you're in the insurance business, if you're in the landscaping business. It doesn't matter what the business is. It's ups and downs. But the people that can stay focused, that can stay committed to the long-term career of what it is this is, the long-term vision of what is possible. Matter of fact, as I went through my current and monthly income, my peak income, where I want to be in 12 months, and then I added one number and I said, I've been 33 years in this industry. And I said, I take what I've earned in 33 years and I divide it. I think it was that turned into like 391 months or something. And it was $71,000 a month I've averaged in income over my 30-year career. Right now, keep in mind, when I first started, I mean, I was making a few thousand a month. My peak income in my first experience, which was the water filters, I had a few months where I had hit that 8,000-10,000, but I averaged around 5,000 a month. And so anyway, it's just, if you make it a career, you can, I don't believe there's a better business or a better industry out there. But one of the things I think in any business is, you have to be open. You have to be open to learning, right? In any business, any career, you have to be open to learning. And who better to learn from than other people that are doing it, that have what you want and are in pursuit of what you want or what you have. And so this concept of mastermind has really been around forever, right? I mean, the mastermind principle, has been around forever. It spawns, all the way back. Maybe one of the first times it was really truly articulated as a powerful tool in business and personal development and growth was probably in Napoleon Hill's, Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the 13 principles, his 13 principles to, success. One of them is the mastermind principle. No one knows as much as a community of people, a group of people. No one knows as much as a group can know. And that group in having open and honest and interaction can come up. That concept with, 1 + 1 isn't 2. 1 + 1 can be 4. 1 + 6 can be 20. Right? When you have a group of like-minded people with a similar goal, and it not even necessarily like in this situation, everybody's in different companies, but the goal is the same. The goal is the same: to grow, to help people, to maximize, the opportunity before them. And so, it's a very, really exciting environment because everybody is very much open and wanting to share, wanting to grow, wanting to help everyone, within this mastermind group. So I've been a part of it for 2 years. Of course, I've known Eric, for my entire career. I've known him for my entire career. We've never been, he's never been my upline. We were in the same company. When I entered the industry, we both started about the same time in the same company. But, his commitment to helping the industry at large. And I've watched him, matter of fact, when he launched the GoPro concept, which is 11 years ago, he was living in Minneapolis at the time. I was, living in my primary residence was still Minnesota, or actually North Dakota at the time. But I grew up in Minnesota, only about 3.5 hours from him. I drove to Minneapolis. We met in the back of a Courtyard by Marriott. And we did one of the first $1 million interviews. That's where he started. He started out, he was a full-time distributor in a company, and he came up with this concept to share across company lines, essentially share across company lines, that what's working and what isn't working, and trying to glean the wisdom off of those that have done it or doing it. And so he was doing a series of $1 million interviews. If you're making $1 million a year, he wanted to try to interview, and then he would chop that up. It was about a 3-hour interview. We just sat in the back of a Courtyard by Marriott. For any of you, if you remember the little flip video, and then you could download that onto your computer and edit it, and he would chop it up and post it. I did one of those first ones. And so, but to see, matter of fact, to be honest with you, when that first took place, we were, I was very skeptical. I was very skeptical in what he was trying to accomplish. Because, sharing across company lines, so to speak, can be risky, can be dangerous. And of course, now, given the fact that what GoPro has become, I'm, totally confident in the security in his message and in him himself and how he helps people, within the industry. But to see what's happened to him in the last really 6 years, go from doing, well to, I'm at his house here. This is a 10,000 square foot house. There's 10,000 square foot of outdoor living space. I asked, because the mastermind's going on right now. And, it's crazy windy today in Las Vegas. I mean, up in the mountains, they're talking about up to 90-mile-an-hour winds here in Las Vegas. We're getting gusts in 40 and 50 mile. So I intended to do this outside in the pool area. I was hoping to grab somebody out of the mastermind and maybe have them contribute and ask some questions. As a matter of fact, I'm talking to some people within the mastermind. Matter of fact, just before we started today, and I asked him if he would join me on one of my fireside chats. And share, and we do an interview. And so one of the things, guys, I'm really, really excited about is our upcoming fireside chats, because I'm taking pages and pages of notes. I'm going to periodically bring in one of these $1 million earners, one of these multi-million dollar earners on to share and to learn from them and get a different perspective maybe on something. But what I'm sharing is what the quantum leap that I've seen Eric make in the last really 6 years from living a really good life and contributing to, just you talk about 10x. I mean, probably went from making a few million a year to probably a few million a month. I mean, that's the kind of money we're talking about. This is probably close to a $20 million house. It's unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. And it's possible. It's possible. And so yesterday on the Fireside Chat, he had an opening address. And one of the things he talked about in the opening address is what he sees is going to happen with this industry over the course of the next 3 years. And he believes this industry is going into a quantum leap. I think there's a lot of contributing factors. I think what's going on in the world today, with people wanting to take more control of their life, with people wanting to work from home, with inflation the way it is today. That's going to be with us for, probably 3 to 5 years before that starts stabilizing and going down, and getting more, but we have to adapt to a new normal. Okay. We can be frustrated and we can, sit and wait for, old times to return, but and you're going to miss out, and you're going to not just miss out, but you're going to sit back and live in a state of frustration, waiting, right? You have to adapt. You have to adapt to what is going on, what's happening in the world today, what's happening with inflation. Everything is going up, and the things that haven't go up are going to have to go up because the cost of everything has gone up. The cost of shipping, the cost of raw materials, everything affects everything. And so the thing that is not going up in proportion are wages. Wages and what people are earning is not going up, which ultimately lowers the lifestyle and their lifestyle, lowers their lifestyle, right? Because everything costs more and they're not making as much more as inflation. And so what are they going to do? They're going to get a second job, a third job. He believes there's going to be a massive movement towards this concept, because you can learn as you earn. You can do something part-time, find something you're excited about, find something you're passionate about, find something you believe in. And so the prospect pool is going to be enormous. And so I just can't tell you how fortunate I feel to be a part of this industry, this company that I'm with, and where we're going, and a lot that's going on, because innovation, right? Innovation, adapting to our present times is going to be key. So one of the things we talked about after his opening address, and kind of talking about where the industry is, where he sees it going, what's happening right now, and he posed, and we're keep coming back to these questions, and there's a lot of interaction. Okay, in this 100 people, Mike is being passed around all the time of people commenting, clarifying, contributing to the questions, to the topic at hand. But one of the things that he started out with is really asking us to answer 5 questions. Okay, and this 5 questions we're going to answer are going to continue through this weekend and probably into the upcoming days to give us a very, very clear picture, right, of what we're doing. So the questions are, here's what the question, the first question was, for you, as we talked about our current income, our peak income, where we want to be in 12 months. And so the first question he asked is, what needs to happen? Okay. What needs to happen, for you to be able to accomplish what it is. So each of you thinking about that, where do you want to be in 12 months from now? So April 22nd of 23, where do you want to be? And so he's like, what needs to happen? What is the gap between where you are and what needs to happen? So you say what needs to happen, and then what is that gap? What is the gap in between, what's happening and what needs to happen? Okay, what is that gap? And then what can you control? And because many times I think we fall into this category of frustration of trying to control or change things that are out of our control. And so really being honest with yourself of what can you control? What can you control? And then what can you change? What can you change? And then the next one was, what do you need to have to work? What do you need to have to work with? What do you have? Basically, what do you have to work with? What set of skills? What set of people? What do you have to work with? So asking those 5 questions, and then he actually took like a 30-minute, not break, but pause from the interaction and said, I want you guys, just don't talk to the person next to you. Just right now, just go on and focus on those 5 questions and write down, and it's gonna continue to build on. So, as I looked at this, what's interesting about my answers is almost every one of them came back to, what needs to happen, what needs to change. And it's really all about me. It's really all about me. My mindset, my, the things that I need to do, right? Because, I mean, there's things that I can change, and there's things that I can't change, about circumstances. We can't change the economy, right? So we have to change to the economy. We have to change, to what's going on in the world. We can't change what's going on, as Jim Rohn talks about. The same wind blows on us all. It's all the set of the sail, and that's really what I think it's talking about. It doesn't matter what's going on, right? Because what's going on is going on. I mean, everybody is dealing with the same economy. Everybody is dealing with, all of the environment around us. Everybody's dealing with all of these same things. The difference, if it's going to blow you into the rocks, or if it's going to blow you out to sea, or you can control. Because the wind's not going to change. The wind's going to do what it's going to do. The only thing you can control is the set of the sail, right? How you set a better sail, you chart that course. And one of the other things, guys, that I'm just so excited about these upcoming fireside chats, because I'm in a major mode, right, of personal growth and personal development and learning. And so one of the things I've been listening to, on my morning hikes, which I try to do like 3 times a week, one of my major, missions here for 2022 is to really work on my health and getting myself in a lot better physical shape and condition and stuff. But as I'm listening to John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Success, and I just see so much overlap in these types of things. And so, but one of the things, he talks about also is that set of the sail, and the same wind is blowing on us all. It's all in the set of the sail. It's not what happens, it's what we do about what happens. So, but one of the other questions as we were deeper into this is he asked us to write down our habits. Okay. And this was an interesting exercise. Let's see where it is here in my notes. Is writing down our habits. And one of the things, as I wrote down all the habits, I'm thinking to myself, man, I got a lot of bad habits. I got a lot of bad habits, and it's like amazing I have any success. because I got a lot of bad habits. And so writing down your habits, and we're talking about the way you react to things. Okay, if you're late for things or not, or if it's the various habits that we have, how we see and react to everything. Okay, and to be honest with, and then looking at those habits if they need, because we're in control of them, right? Although habits are habits, we can change a habit, but it takes very much of a conscious effort. Number one is awareness, of being aware of how this habit, is, maybe you have a cynical attitude about networking or life or people or whatever. And he's saying that's a habit. It's a reaction. It's something, it's a default that you always kind of go to. And so writing down and really letting your mind wander on this stuff, are you too much in your head? Do you beat yourself up? Maybe your habit is you tend to think you know it all. Putting yourself down. Feeling small or feeling too big, feeling too confident. What is so? It's just a really, really, really wide range of things, and then really identifying to give you a real understanding of who you are. Okay, because we're a victim of habits. And what are our habits? And are those habits serving us? Or are they holding us back? Or are those habits destroying us? Right. So, and I'm not completing these exercises where, these are being thrown out. We start them. I need to go back and because what his contention is, as we go through these exercises, whatever the number was you wrote down of where you want to be in 12 months, as we go through these exercises, number one, you're likely going to adjust that number, and that number may get adjusted up, may get adjusted down. Okay. Because he says, most of you that just, when the number you threw out was pie in the sky. What's the plan? What's the plan to get there? What do you need to change? What can you control? What is the gap? Right? What's holding you back? And so it was really an interesting exercise. So just a lot of really great things. But guys, the mastermind principle, and essentially that's what we do here, right? On this fireside chat. This is really, it's a fireside chat, but it's an open, interactive fireside chat. And I think the more we pick a topic and we discuss it and we talk about it, the goal is to get input, to get ideas, to work together, where one of us is not anywhere near as strong as all of us. One of us doesn't know as much as all of us, right? Is us to work together to take this fireside chat to not just have a positive impact on your business, on your life, but to take it to other people that you can have a positive impact on, and possibly invite them to where we can all grow and learn together. And so I think this concept, because that's essentially what this fireside chat is it is a it's a mastermind. It's a mastermind event. And so anyway, I'm gonna probably cut this a little bit short today. I'm hearing in the background what's happening, in the main session here, and I don't want to miss out on much of it. But I still wanted to come on because one of the things that I'm really big on is when I commit to doing something, even if it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or I wish I wouldn't have, I still do it. And so I want to get back to that. We're coming up here on about 25 minutes. So let's take this last 5 minutes, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear some thoughts and some ideas and some input on what we've just talked about, what I've talked about. But I am excited. I am excited about what our future holds. And I'm excited for this industry, but I'm also excited about our Friday Fireside Chats, of the information, because I'm really committed to dig in and get more information, more insight, more ideas. But your participation, your insight, what you've learned, your perspective on what it is we're doing or talking about can have a great contribution to us all learning more and growing more and becoming more. So let me just be quiet for a moment and see who wants to jump in here and contribute.
Can you repeat the 5 questions again, just to make sure we got them written down correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. So what needs to happen, right? What is the gap between, what's happening and what needs to happen? What is that gap? What can you control, right? What can you control? What needs to change? What needs to change? And what do you have to work with? Okay, meaning, the company that you have to work with, the set of skills that you have, the contacts that you have, the time that you have. What do you have to work with? What are the tools and the things that you have to work with to move you towards your goal? So, what needs to happen? And for me, the first thing I wrote down is just, you have to make a decision. It really comes down to making that decision. Making that decision, a long time ago when I entered this industry, I kind of made that decision. You're going to see me, dead along the side or at the top of the mountain, but you're not going to see me at the bottom of the mountain, right? I mean, I'm going to keep kicking and climbing and a day at a time, a brick at a time, and just keep moving forward. But, making that, recommitting to that vision, that decision, what is the gap? What can you control? And again, a lot of this is going to fall right back on you, because what can you control? Well, you can control your attitude, you can control your mindset, you can control your time, you can control what you do about everything that comes your way. What can you change? And don't dwell on or be frustrated with things you can't change. What you need to do is you need to change the way you go. And really, I guess you can change, because if there's something that you can't change, you can change the way you react to it. If you can't change it, you can change the way you react to it. And then what do you have to work with? Anybody else want to jump in here?
Yes, I was going to say, it's so interesting to me. I try to read about approximately a book a week, and every week the book coincides with what you talk about and my online church service. And I was just reading a chapter. It's a book by Tim S. Grover, Winning. And the one chapter that I read today, we're talking about what you can control. And just like you said, he's saying, we can control what we eat, we can control what we do. But at the same time, and as you just stated about going in on your word, you said you were going to do this call and you're here for the Fireside Chat. It's a non-negotiable. But he also mentioned something really interesting. I was thinking is we have these non-negotiables sometimes, but then if something, and you touched on this, but if things stop working, you need to change that. You can't have it your non-negotiable if it's not working anymore. And he talks about like Michael Jordan, how he would train on game days and eat a steak. And everyone's like, that's crazy. You have to have carbs. But it was a non-negotiable, he couldn't do that non-negotiable because he didn't have the same energy. He needed to have the steak right before the game. So it's just really interesting how everything ties. And now I'm on the chapter about, like you said, mastermind. And we all know everything comes from our mind, everything we think. And I'm just really evaluating things, because sometimes you think you're doing everything right in your routine and you get stuck. So I'm just reevaluating some of the things and habits, and so.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, what you just said about, non-negotiables, there's a certain point to that, because if it's not serving you, if it's not getting to where you are, now you've created something almost like a stubbornness around something that's not serving you. Right. So, and we could go much deeper into that comment that you said about, these non-negotiables, because there can be unhealthy ones, right? Things that are not serving you. So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. And what was the name of the book you're reading?
It's Winning with Tim S. Grover. He wrote Relentless. He's trained Michael Jordan and a lot of just business people throughout the world as well. So
yeah, wow, fantastic.
Yeah, great book.
Anyone else want to jump in?
Hey, John, it's Sif here. So you're actually sitting in Eric Worre's house right now, right?
I am.
That is so cool, man. And just to be able to hear and experience like where you're coming from. I think that the main thing for me, because I'm a really simple guy, I actually had to fine tune my level of I want a control, because with 8 children and most of them women, you can just think about the amount of crazy things that's like right now. Literally, my granddaughter just came in, barged into my office, had all the girls in here. It was loud. I was trying to like, hey, I'm gonna unmute. I want to share something real quick. But my thing is, if it's not fun, I'm not gonna do it. You know, if it doesn't involve me getting better, I'm not gonna do it. If I don't know how to do it, like if it's too complicated, I'm not gonna do it. And if I can't help other people, I'm not gonna do it. And everything that we're doing together now, it involves all that. I can answer yes to all those questions. You know, those are the things that I can control. I've been working more on my physique, so I'm happy to hear that you're focused on that as well, because that's what we do, right? Because you can be the richest person on earth, but if your health isn't really there, you know, all the money that's going to allow you to travel, all the family, the people you love, you don't have the energy to take care of them or just have fun and enjoy life. What is all there for? So I really like the fact that you brought everything back to what can we do? What can I do, right? What can I give the world versus what can the world give me? When you look from that perspective and have that paradigm shift, what I found in my life, everything just kind of happens for me now. You know, instead of, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened to me. It's like, I'm so happy it happened for me, because all the struggles that we've come through the past several months, past several years, I've learned more about my strengths and the opportunities for advancement than if I'd never had those obstacles at all. So back to you, John. Thank you.
You know, you said several things there, Siv, and thank you for that. But, you know, one of the things you just said is it happened for you versus to you, right? And that's a mind shift, right? Because people fall into, one's a victim mode, one is a learning mode, right? Okay. It happened for me, and there's a lesson to be learned here, or it led you to another level, or led you to another decision that, you know, elevated you to another level, versus it happened to you. You know, now you're in the victim mode, poor me, and that's going to lead you into the ditch, right? And so that's a very, very, in a lot of people, just if you just understand this, that little bit of how you think about something. The other thing that I loved about what you just talked about was you've essentially got a criteria. I mean, bottom line, life is short, right? And how are you going to spend your time? And what are you going to spend your time doing? And are you going to spend your time doing things you don't enjoy? Or are you going to spend your time essentially that aren't serving your bigger mission, your bigger goal? And so you've come up with this set of questions that you kind of quickly probably process in your mind when something, or you may dig into it deeper depending on the size of the decision. But you've essentially got a set of criteria. If I'm going to engage in this, is it going to meet this criteria, which is phenomenal. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Good morning or afternoon. I was just thinking that one of the things that I actually have learned within this past 2 years, some of you have heard my story. I basically died of COVID and had to basically relearn everything. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to write, how to talk. But one of the things also that affected was my entire nerve system. So I was finding out that I was becoming really reactionary. I was overly emotional. I was overly sad. But in the past, I had not realized that even though I had not been sick with COVID, I felt like I was reacting to a lot of what people said, people thought, people did. And one of the things that I had to learn now was to put boundaries. What was it that I could respond to and have control of that? And it has made such a huge difference in my personal development, because while sometimes I'm very passive, in others I would be totally aggressive. And it was throwing people off. They didn't know whether I was passive or I was aggressive. I was being passive aggressive. And so having control of your emotions, especially when you're working with people, it's a huge thing, actually. because it makes a big difference in how you relate with people, with anyone that you're working with. And so for me, that's very true. Like we do have to have control of certain areas of our life, or all of our areas of our life. And I'm already a control freak, but at the same time, it's like there is other areas that we really do need to have control, and there's some areas that we can ease up and just let go. So yeah. So thank you for pointing these things out.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I can't imagine what that must have been like to go through and to fight back. And so we're glad you're here with us. One of the other, I'm gonna end with this, and I need to get back to this meeting, but there's so much coming out of this, and I'm taking notes. And again, I'm going to share this stuff as we go. It's a saying that I've heard before, but it's such a powerful saying, because and we've had a couple little breakout sessions to talk a little bit about this, in the mastermind. But one of the sayings was, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. And, we never know what's going on in someone's life. Right. And sometimes when we feel like we're being hurt or attacked or whatever, we get defensive, or we want to engage or react, and just stepping back and giving them grace and giving them, the benefit of the doubt, or because we don't know what's going on in their life. We don't know the pain they might be going through, and what their motivation, and rather than attack back, but just to embrace them and try to help them instead of react to them in some way. So that's kind of off subject, but anyway, guys, I love y'all, and let's do this again. Let's next week we'll have another great fireside chat. So that, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Bye now.
Happy belated birthday, Laura.